Hi, welcome. My name is Brooke. Thank you for joining me at the Bureau in the basement. Right now, I'll practice to bring more awareness, more space, more lift, more vitality to our low back, in particular, our sacrum that sits at the back of our pelvis. So I want to call this class Honoring Your Sacred Sacrum. There is a host of reasons why we should pay attention to this area. And it's such a vulnerable, complex area that can get out of balance and get too tight, and that can create havoc in our whole body. As the sacrum connects our two sides, right hip, left hip, our lower and upper bodies. It's essentially the place where life is created. It houses our nervous system, one end of our nervous system. A lot of spinal nerves start in the back of our sacrum. One of the 7 chakras. So energetically, when that's out of balance, again, for whatever reason, it's whole body, right? Mind, body. Man, you can have feelings of loneliness. It's hard to be creative. It's hard to really connect to a sense of feeling vital and beautiful. So we all want to have those feelings of beauty and feeling worthy and feeling sensual and being creative. That's part of being alive. So hopefully we can create that with that lift. So let's get to work without further ado. So let's go ahead. If you have a block, grab that now. If you don't worry about it. We'll start lying on our back in a constructive rest position. What is a constructive rest position? So I'll show you that now. It's very simple and a wonderful thing to do. So first you just start lying flat on your back. Feel the head, the shoulders, the ribs, the pelvis, the feet. Knees are bent, hip distance width apart. And you can just rest here and just feel the weight of gravity, right? Let the bones feel the floor, let the tissue soften. And we'll start with 5 full breaths. So if you do have a block, I'd recommend taking that and placing it underneath your pelvis, sacrum, and just sort of rest the sacrum, pelvis down on that block. Just creates a little bit more of a leverage point so your sacrum can sort of expand into that block, so you can think about breathing into that block. So again, you can place your hands at your abdomen, your ribs, wherever you feel a good connection. And we'll start by taking 5 breaths here. Inhaling, breathing big into the sides of the ribs. Let that breath continue to expand into the basin of your pelvic floor, into this block if you have it. And then let your exhale just be light. And as you exhale, just allow your body to just sink a little bit deeper. And again, inhaling, breathing space in your whole body. There's no right and wrong. And then exhale, let that breath leave you. Feel your navel sinking, the low back expanding, bones are heavy. You can exhale through the mouth, just let it go, release any tension, check in with yourself, feel where you might be holding any tension. And again, inhaling. And exhale, sigh it out. Let yourself relax. One more full breath. And exhale all the air out. So again, just observe any feelings of tension and just try to let it go. I know it's easier said than done. This is a great thing to do, by the way. Anytime you feel a little anxious, feeling like you can't breathe, you just need to sort of reground. So really ground yourself, feel the weight of gravity. And then from there, we're just going to try to keep that pelvis level on the block to keep the sacrum level and grounded. And we'll just float the right leg up, place your hands behind your hamstring, and stretch up through your right leg. Point flex your foot a couple times, and then we'll change. The idea again is to keep the sacrum on both sides, right and left, feeling the mat or the block. Again, side 2, stretch up, reaching through the back of the knee, point flex your foot a few times. Good, feels good. And then again, side one again, we'll pick the leg up, maybe hold on either here or maybe to the top of the shin, and keep pushing up into your hands so the waistline is away from the top thigh and you're creating a little more strength in the hamstring. So we'll stay here for your exhale and then try and keep the pelvis level, sacrum even on the block or the floor. We'll inhale, pull the knee up toward your armpit, chest, and exhale, push away, strengthening the back of the hamstring, creating that lift in that low belly. Pubic bone is light in the front spine. One more time, inhale, strongly pull, deepen the crease in your groin, and strongly push. Pause, and then hands to back hamstring and stretch up one more time. Now, as long as your pelvis can stay heavy, maybe slide your left heel long. Keep a little bend in the left heel so the left toes are up. Try to keep the pelvis symmetrical. And stay here, one more full breath, inhaling. And exhale, reach both legs energetically out of the pelvis. Good, and then side two again, walk both feet in. Again, lift your left leg. Hands here or to the top of the shin. And again, start by pushing forward and up into your hands. Feel the hamstring, the lift of the waist off your thigh. And then we'll inhale, pull in. And exhale, push away. And move slowly here. When I pull my left knee in to my armpit chest, there's some resistance there in my groin. So I'm working carefully, but I'm working strongly as well. I'm really pulling in, trying to keep my hips level. Pushing away, pause, try to keep that levelness, that rootedness, hands to the hamstring, and I'll stretch up through my left leg, point flex a couple times, and then maybe inch my right leg away from me, try to keep my hips level on that block, dig my heel down so I don't hyperextend my right leg, and just one more full breath, inhaling, level out both sides of your sacrum, pelvis on that block, exhale, navel to spine, stretch through your leg bones, lengthen through your spine in opposition, and then rebend. Good, and let's take one more time. So right leg up, start the same way, hand to shin, pull in, push away, once more. Again, keeping that sacrum level, stretch up through your right leg, maybe stretch the left leg long. Now root down through your sacrum and maybe float the left leg up off the floor for one more full breath here. Keep driving your right thigh forward, squaring off your hips. Good, then rebend that left knee, plant, or bend your right knee too. Let's take figure four pose. Flex your foot, but energize the inner thigh to the inner foot of the right leg. Staying here or pick up your left foot, hold on to the top of the shin for a quick figure four. Let's rock here with this figure four. Inhale, draw the tailbone forward, come down to the base of the sacrum, best to your ability. Then exhale, gently maybe round the low back. The sacrum lifts up off that block a bit. Inhale, arc, lengthen. Exhale, pull it in. Keep your pubic bone light. Chest stays open. One more breath. Really opening up that right hip. Good. And gently release that. And go ahead, side two. So left leg up. We'll inhale, pull. Exhale, push. Use that right foot for leverage to keep that right pelvis level on that block. And then stretch up through your left leg, flex point, maybe inch the right leg away. Feel your symmetry. So I have to do some interesting things myself to keep my level hips. So pay attention to your own body. Maybe you need to hike up that hip like I do a little bit to keep my right pelvis, sacrum grounded on the block. Now, next exhale, stabilize your waist into the block or floor and float the right leg up maybe for one more full breath. Inhale, breathe deeply. Exhale from the core of the pelvis, reach your legs, reach your spine, lengthen through the bones of your body. And then release, bend right knee, bend left, figure four, cross the shin, keep energetically reaching from the inner thigh to the inner foot. Or maybe float the leg up, hands past the top of shin bone. And here we go. We'll rock it a little bit. We'll arc and lengthen. And exhale. Draw the flesh of the buttocks under and up. Pubic bone is light. Inhale. Exhale. It's like a wave. Just rocking and rolling gently on our sacrum. Good, and gently release that, both legs up. And give your legs a just gentle shake here. Deep belly breath in. Fill into the pelvic basin, exhale. Good, and then bend the knees. Last little work here on the block, hold on to the inner ankles or possibly the inner heels. And then we'll kick your right ankle on top of the right knee and kick your left ankle up on top of the left knee. And as I pull down on my heels with my hands, push up into your hands. You can point or flex your foot, see what feels best on you. But create that space. So I'm trying to draw my tailbone down and forward onto my block. It's lifting up a little bit now. And I'm spreading into the floor of my pelvis here. Like one more breath. And maybe you can play with lengthening through your legs. And then rebend, release, draw the legs together, lower the feet down, bridge pose, lift your hips up and slide your block away. Very nice. Okay, let's go ahead, move the block out to your side. Let's roll to your side and come standing. Okay, so let's do that coming to all fours. Curl 10 toes, lift your hips, hike the hips up and back, downward dog. Just pedal out your feet here in dog, stretch the legs one at a time. And then walk your hands back to your feet. Forward fold at the back of your mat. Inhale, bend your knees, look forward, exhale, round. And push with your hands, push with your feet. Broaden the slow spine. And then bend the knees, draw your hands to the tops of the thighs. Pause, inhale. Energetically hug your legs toward one another and round your back, spreading, opening low back. Release your head, cat. And then inhale, draw the thigh bones back and furrow back to cow. Hold your seat. Again, hug in with those shin bones. And again, start at the tip of the tailbone, rounding your back. Hug your feet in, broaden your sacrum, low back. Create that width, that space. Keep your round now, and then roll the spine to come up. Roll the shoulders up, back, and around 3 times. Nice and supple. Okay, nice work. Grab a block if you have it. Again, if you don't, just use the muscles hugging in. You don't need a block, but it's great if you have it. Slide the block in between your inner thighs. That muscle energy of hugging that block will help spread that low back. So just standing in Tadasana. Notice if your hips are pushing forward, this area gets stuck and tight, and this area also gets hard and tight. It doesn't look so pretty either. So draw the thigh bones back, supple knees, grounded feet, and then just add a little flesh of the buttocks down, pubic bone is light, keep the knees supple, arms relaxed, and then hinging at the hips from Tadasana, we'll take a seat in a chair pose, with the arms forward and up, bicep to ears. Stay here for your exhale, pubic bone is light, grounded feet, and then inhale, press to come up. Keep the arms reaching, keep that width in your sacrum. And then exhale, hands together, draw the hands down the center line, bending the knees forward, folding to Uttanasana, shake out your head and neck. Let the sacrum fold in to the length of your spine. The sacrum's connected to the crown. Rebend those knees, chair, sweep the arms forward and up, inhale. Press to come up, exhale, root to rise, feel your connections. Bend your elbows to the center of your heart and forward fold again, hinging at those hips. Exhale, forward fold. Do that one more time. Bend the knees, inhale, have a seat. Let's stay for your exhale, and then inhale, press down, come up. Exhale, forward fold, hinging at those hips. Keep that low back broad. Touch the floor, release your head. And then back to your chair pose, inhaling. And exhaling. And inhale, press to come up. And this time exhale, just hands to the center of your heart. Hopefully that went well. Take the block out. We'll keep the essence of the block as we keep moving here. So again, find your Tadasana. Spread open that low back. Make sure you're not pushing your hips forward in that tuck. Thighs back, hug in. Feel that pelvic wheel. So the top of the sacrum draws down and the pubic bone lifts up. Root to rise, inhale. Hinge at the hips, exhale, forward fold, release your head. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, thighs back, spine forward. Keep that sense of the shin bones hugging in to promote that width in that low back. Exhale, let's press back to downward facing dog. Pedal out your feet. Try to keep that sense of the hips staying level even as you pedal. From here, we'll inhale, draw your tailbone under, come forward to plank pose. Exhale, chaturanga, lower. Nice and easy, cobra pose. Inhale, root the hands of your spine. Careful not to come up too high, so we keep reaching those legs. So just, again, sense your sacrum, sense your low back. Exhale, gently lower. Curl to toes, press to plank, inhale. Exhale, pike it back, down dog. Roll, inhale, draw your right leg in and up to the center line of your body. Inwardly rotate your thigh, drawing your toes in and the outer heel back, spreading open that right side of your sacrum. And then allow external rotation and open the hip. Reach your right leg up a little bit higher. Keep firming that outer left hip in. You can bend your knee if you like. And stretch open that right side body just a little bit more. Re-square. Inwardly spiral the back side, open up that right low back, and then just pull the right knee forward all the way to your lunge pose. Lower the back knee down. Push down to come up, and inhale and exhale here. Try to keep the hips nice and level. Again, notice if you go too far down in your lunge, you may create a little tightness and lack of space in your pelvis, so press down to the front heel to draw your waist back to promote more width in that sacrum. Press your right hand down on your right thigh, lift your left arm up, inhale. Hug to the midline like you had a block between your thighs and side bend up and over to your right. Take one more full breath, maybe lower the right hand down to the side of the mat. Turn your gaze up into your left armpit, and then exhale, pull yourself right back up. Lower the left hand down, pause. Pelvis is lifted, hug the midline, lift the back heel, and then take a twist, rotate to your right. Allow that outer left hip to dip down to begin the twist, so the sacrum moves with the spine in the rotation. You gotta press the right heel, hug the outer right hip in, reach the arms, take one more full breath in, keep softening the sternum, abdomen in, reaching up. And then gently lower the right hand down, lower the back right knee down again, and runner's lunge. Draw the pelvis back, come up into your right heel, supple right knee, inhale on fingertips, broaden the sacrum, and exhale, hinging at the hips, release your forehead to your right knee, and try to keep your pubic bone nice and light here. Breathing into the floor of the pelvis, especially that right low back sacrum area. And then rebend that knee, back runner's lunge, lifting back left knee, and step forward, Uttanasana at the front of your mat. Release your head, shake it out. Bend your knees to a chair pose, sweep the arms forward and up, inhaling. Stay for your exhale, keep hugging that midline, broaden the low sacrum. And then inhale, press to Uttanasana, hands to your heart. Again, reset. You can always do a little pelvic circle or two. Again, thighs back, hug the midline, find that little pelvic wheel, root down to rise up. Exhale, hands down the center line, Uttanasana, forward fold. Release your head, Ardha Uttanasana, lengthen, tone. Exhale, plant your hands, step back, downward dog. Pedal your feet. Hands pressing down, spine lifting long, armpits hollow. Really draw your pubic bone back to lengthen the low spine through those thighs. In that length, again, from the flesh to the upper buttocks, top of the sacrum, draw your sacrum under and reach down to your heels so there's balance in the front and back of your pelvis. Feel the width in that sacrum. Feel the length in that sacrum. That's what we want, length and space. And then draw your legs to midline. Flip the left leg forward or back and up. Inwardly spiral that thigh in and back first. Draw the toe in. Draw the outer heel back into the left. Feel that width, that left low back. Now counter that, externally rotate and lift your leg up and stack it on top of your right. You gotta bend your right knee and firm the outer right hip in. You can point and flex your foot, maybe bend that knee. Take one breath, lengthen your whole left side, and then re-extend, re-square. Find that inward rotation to broaden left sacrum, low back, and then pull that left knee all the way forward and through for your runner's lunge. Lower that back right knee, pull yourself up. Again, go forward and go back a few times. Notice when you come forward, I really sort of jam my sacrum. There's not balance. So I gotta press down, pull back right away. I feel my back, my sacrum broaden, expand. Stay in that, pull the waistline in, that little pelvic wheel. Left hand to thigh, right arm up, inhale. Lift up out of your upper inner right thigh and side bend. Stay here, root down, hug in, lift yourself up, keeping that sense of width in your low back. Maybe take your left hand down to the floor, take one more full, beautiful breath, gaze right up into your armpit chest, and then exhale, gently pull yourself back up. Lower the right hand down. Again, draw your pelvis back to promote width, space in that sacrum. Lift the back right knee. Again, you can even put your hand on your sacrum, feel it, expand, lift. Allow the outer right hip to dip down. So the sacrum begins to twist. The outer right hip dips down. The outer left hip dips up, maybe, but it hugs in nonetheless. Reach down to the right, reach up to the left, chin and throat back. Couple breaths here. Keep driving your right thigh back, hugging your outer left hip in, driving left heel down. But again, begin the twist from the pelvis, sacrum, outer right hip dips. You keep softening the front sternum, abdomen, toning, arms reaching. Lower that left hand back down, right away lower the right knee, runner stretch. Draw the hips back, little bend in that knee so there's connection, foot to pelvis. Hands down, lift up. Again, keep the hinge, pubic bone is slightly forward fold, a bit over your right shin. Take a breath in, take a breath out. Pubic bone is light, broaden that low sacrum, low back. Pull yourself back forward, runner's lunge, inhale. And step forward, exhale, Uttanasana. Good, and then in Uttanasana, lace your hands behind your low back and feel your sacrum. You can inhale here, bend your knees, draw your seat back, exhale, let the sacrum draw into the fold, release your head, and then keep the sacrum into the fold and reach the arms up and over your head. Pull the belly in on you as you exhale. Pubic bone is light. One more time, inhale, maybe bend the knees, draw your sacrum in to the spine. Exhale, tone your abdomen, root the sit bones to your heel bones. Release your head, neck. Good, and then release the hands down, come to a nice chair. Sweep those arms, remember to hug the midline. And then exhale, stay in your chair. One more breath. Good, and then hands to the floor. I'm going to walk back to the middle of my mat now. From my chair position, I'm going to draw my heels in, toes out, heels lifted, and then have a deep squat here, like a malasana. So my heels are up, my toes are down, I'm hugging the midline, inner thighs in. And then I'm going to lengthen my spine through my thighs. Release my head, ears between upper arms. And I invite you to bounce here. Keep actively pressing your toes, actively reaching your spine. Lengthening all the way out through your fingertips. Hug the midline with those inner thighs. So again, you broaden the sacrum, low back. Stay here, or widen your stance a little wider. Lower all the way down, malasana. Draw your elbows into your upper inner thighs and do the best you can to press down to lift up, feet down, spine tall. And then press the hands down in front of you. Square off your stance and release your head forward fold. Bend those knees. Bring your stance back to outer hip distance width apart. Come up a bit, inhale, cow. Hug in with those shin bones, draw the tailbone under, sacrum broaden. Round your back, cat. Keep your cat roll, come up. Shoulders roll back and around. Okay, let's take a prasarita. So wide stance. Again, you have the front pelvis, you have the back of the pelvis. So we want to find some balance here. And when our thighs draw back, we don't want to walk around like this. We don't want to walk around like this, closing, compressing our sacrum low back. So we first have to draw the thighs back, ground through our feet, push them out apart energetically, and then tone the low waist as the sacrum, flesh the buttocks draw under and up a little bit like a pelvic wheel. So find your balance, find that play, find that balance between front and back. Hands to hips, wide chest, inhale, look up, holding that balance here. Hinge at the hips, and slide your hands down your legs, release your head. 2 breaths here. And again, think of your 2 sides reaching apart energetically with every exhale. Reach your sit bones straight up to the ceiling, heel bones straight down. Really spread the space here in between your 2 legs, your 2 hips. 1 more breath, let the energy soften a bit, maybe a little bounce. Exhale, tone your belly and fold in. Shoulders roll up and away from those ears. And then draw your hands right underneath your shoulders, smile. Keep toning low waist. Let's take a side bend. So you're going to energetically press and root that outer left foot. And bend your right knee a little bit and walk your hands over to the right. You can stay here in a little lateral lunge. Hips are back, heels are weighted. And maybe take the left arm forward in a long diagonal out of the outer left hip. Make sure there's some tone and lift in the inner thigh. And you keep that width in your left sacrum, down through your outer foot, tone the inner left thigh. Good, release that, come center. And then maybe lateral lunge a little bit over to the left, but don't lose that connection to the outer right foot, that tone lift to the inner right thigh. So this area is a little harder for me. I really want to collapse. So you got to keep that fullness, not let the hip drop as you take your lateral lunge. So ground down and back. Press left hand, reach right arm. Feel the reach of the right fingertips right at that low right sacrum. Try to keep the hips level so the sacrum doesn't dip. Broad right low back. I'm really working here. 1 more full breath. And exhale. That's our side stretch. Come back center. Inhale. Now let's take a twist. So now we want the sacrum to move with the rest of our spine. We'll keep the left hand down, right hand to hip, and we'll let that left hip dip down up and over to our right. So notice the rotation. The pelvis sacrum moves with the rotation. So you allow the twist to begin at the outer left hip. I'm still energetically reaching down through both feet, reaching my wings, softening my sternum, abdomen, spine. And then exhale, lower right hand, pause there in the middle. Grab evenly through both feet, pelvis is back, spine is long. And then we'll lead with the outer right hip. We'll dip the hip down into the rotation. So the sacrum again draws into the spine, it's involved in the twist. Left arm reaches up, right arm reaches down, grounded through your feet, lengthen your body. And then let's move a little bit. So exhale, inhale, spiral. Left hip dips. Exhale, find neutral, and inhale, spiral. Exhale, neutral, tone your belly, pubic bone is light, rotate, spiral. This is so healthy for our spine. Notice as we allow the hip to dip down, the sacrum stays still broad, still wide, still spacious, still long. 1 more time, let that outer right hip dip down, lengthen your crown, soften your waist, ribs in. Lower both hands down, 1 more time. Let's forward fold, hands, can hold onto the outer shins. Bend your knees a little bit, maybe a little bounce. Keep energetically pressing your legs away from one another. As you exhale, lift your sit bones up, pull your abdomen deep, shoulders roll up and back, release that head. Then hands again, once again underneath your shoulders, heel toe. Actually, let's stay in prasarita. Draw your hands to your hips and then unfold to come back up standing. I love Trikonasana, so let's do that one now. So spin your left toes out, heel to heel, alignment about or heel to arc a foot. If you need more balance, take a wider stance. So hold on to your own pelvis here. We're gonna bump your hips laterally to the right, putting a deep crease in your left hip crease. Hinging, hinging, hinging. Now, so we don't hyperextend this left knee, I'm pushing with my toes. I'm lengthening through my crown. I see where I go. And then maybe hand to shin, block, or floor. Pause there and keep toning, lifting that upper inner right thigh. Allow that right hip to dip down a little bit in the spiral, in the hinge here. And then maybe take the right arm up for your Trikonasana. So again, the sacrum is involved. It's lengthening with the rest of the spine in Trikonasana. I'm spinning my right hip, inner right thigh up and back, allowing that right hip to dip down and forward. And then to counter that, to resist that, I firm my outer left buttock, hip into the midline. I remember to soften my waist, ribs, pubic bone is light. Take one more full breath in your triangle. Right foot presses down, back, left foot presses down, forward, toning my waistline, rotating my spine, maybe look up. And then right hand to hip, soften your left knee a little bit more, slide all the way back up. Side two. So hands to hips, feel your two sides. Okay, so allow the left hip to go leftward, the right hip to follow, sacrum stays together. Big hinge in that right hip. Allow your torso to hinge forward if you need to. Supple knee, grounded foot, tone lift that upper inner thigh. Slide your hand down, maybe to a block. Pause, shoulders back, abdomen soft into the back. And then maybe reach the top left arm up. Couple breaths here. I inhale, spiral my left thigh up, back, root down my left foot, push it back. Exhale, push my right foot down forward, tone my spine, grow my spine, my lowest back bones through the top of my crown. Feels so good. One more breath. Good, and then gently lower that hand down, soften my right knee, unfold to come up. Good, Prasarita one more time, open your chest, inhale. Exhale, hinge forward, keep pressing your feet away from one another. Release your head. Plant the hands, and let's come down onto our knees for gate pose. One of my all-time favorites. Okay, so let's start. Again, just draw that awareness to our sacrum. Remember, we don't want to start here. We don't want to start here. We want to find that balance. So thighs back, and then from the top of the sacrum, flesh of the buttocks go down, pubic bone is light. Feel all sides participating, keeping that width and space. So that's what we're going to try to sustain in our gait. So kickstand your right leg out, push the foot, lift your thigh. From there, we'll hinge at the hips a little bit, keep that reach, and stretch your left arm out in opposition. Just a breath or two more. Inhale, and exhale, and inhale, and exhale. Maybe lower that hand down if you have that ability and sweep the right arm over. Just one more full breath. Lengthening both sides. Keep reaching down through your bottom left shin, top right foot, tone right inner thigh. And pull your spine out of your pelvis. Try to keep that balance in your pelvis. And then go ahead and reach the top arm up. Unfold. Gate. Now you can keep your foot like this, or I like to turn my toes out a little bit. And I energetically, like I had a block between my thighs, I pull my right leg in. I just got a good adjustment, my right sit bone. So I energetically pull in, abdomen, pubic bone is light, spacious sacrum. Stand in your left shin bone, lift the left arm right up out of the inner thigh so you keep that verticality. Breath here, this feels so nice. And then exhale, just simply side bend here. So you can stay like this. This is so wonderful. I'm energetically pulling both sides of my body to midline. I'm toning my waistline, keep that fullness of my sacrum low back as I side bend to my right. Pull yourself up. Now another version, you don't have to do it, but to go a little deeper, you can draw the butt back, slide your arms down, sweep the top arm on top of the right, and then spin your torso chest underneath your left armpit.
I'm still pressing my shin, right foot down, hugging the midline, firming my right hip under. Big side stretch. And then gently slide all the way back up. That's a lot of work. Okay, draw that leg in. Wow, just feel the difference. So I'll just tell you, my right groin now is so soft, especially compared to my left, just from all that work that we just did. So again, take some pelvic circles, if you will. These are a great way to sort of feel all your sides, all of that opportunity our pelvis has. And we're looking for balance. Okay, thighs back, sacrum draws under and up a degree, right? Find that balance, that connection, that width, that length. And then I'll sneak my left foot out. Okay, I'm going to ground the foot, toe lift the inner thigh, create that width in my pelvis. Keep that steadfast, re-hinging at my hips, reaching right arm out, bicep to ear. Notice I keep my hand on my left groin to remember to keep my thighs back. That's going to keep my sacrum more broad, and I'm going to create more width there so I can pull my stomach, low belly into that width. Left hand down, possibly shoulder head back, sweep and lengthen. And I'm pressing bottom shin bone, left foot down and in toward one another. I'm lengthening my spine, right and left sides, front and back sides, out of my pelvic bowl. Feel spacious in the back, tone in the front. Lift yourself. And then keep that lift, just hand to hip, slide back up. Gate pose, so we'll spin the toes out, ideally. Hug in, release that. Again, foot presses down, thigh presses, shin presses down. And there's that energy to midline. I'm pulling my femur bone into the back of my pelvic hip space, broadening my sacrum. Sustain that energy, a lot of strength. Hamstrings really taut here. Reach my right arm up. Keep dropping my pelvis down and side stretch. This side's a little more stickier, so I have to really keep the strength on my left side. I'm going to take one more breath. I'm going to keep dropping my pelvis or my thigh bone, toning my belly, and come up. Let's take side or the next version. Again, so I still hug in. This time I hinge back, trying to draw my thighs back. Slide my left arm, sweep my right arm over. Woo, this side's a little tighter. I'm going to pull my stomach in, broaden my low back, lengthen. Exhale, tone and rotate. Keep pressing down through shin, top left foot, bottom left foot. One more breath. And then exhale. Whee! That's so intense. So not bad. My left hip's still a little bit stuck in the front, but I'm not too concerned about it. That still felt really good to me. Okay, come back forward in front of your mat. Let's go ahead and just plant your hands for quadruped. Curl 10 toes, inhale. Exhale, push your hips up and back. Downward dog. Take a moment, pedal out your feet. Ground through your hands. Lengthen through your side body. Inhale, rise up to your toes, bend your knees, draw your pubic bone through those thighs, lengthening the little spine. Lengthen those legs and then draw the flesh of the buttocks down, under, tone low belly in, up. One more, inhale, bend. Lift, pubic bone through your inner thighs. Keep that length, and in that length, flesh of the buttocks run under, down. Pubic bone is light, heels are reaching, arms are stretching, spine is lengthening. Good, and then come forward, the plank pose. Let's take pigeon, right shin bone forward, about a 45 degree angle. Knee toward the right corner of your mat. Keep the left toes curled under. Press down with your hands to keep that lift in your front spine. And see if you can slide your left leg back a degree. Try to keep the hips level. Press down with your hands. Keep that toe lift in that low spine. Maybe here, lower the left foot down, lift spine taller. And then exhale, maybe hinge forward and come onto your forearms for a breath or two here. And I'm pushing down and forward with my forearms to keep that lift in my front body to promote width in my back body. Trying to square off my hips, so my right heel draws toward my outer left hip. And I'm drawing my right hip back. Staying here, or turn your left forearm in, bending left knee,
Sweep the right arm all the way back and grab hold of your foot. Now I'm going to draw my heel bone to my bottom and lift my bottom to my heel bone. So again, I work both ends and keep that connection, and then I use my exhale, pushing down form, pushing down shin, lifting belly, spine, keep that fullness in my sacrum, low back. So my chest up, one more full breath here, and exhale, release that. Good, press up again, one more breath, curl to left toes, lift back up, down dog. Just pedal it out and we'll side two. Come find plank, and let's go ahead and draw the left shin bone, 45-degree angle, top of the mat. Try to square off your hips, press down, and slide your right leg back. Staying here, maybe lower those toes, lift them down, hinging forward, coming to forms. And again, push down, forward with your form, so pull the waist up and in. Trying to create that symmetry in your pelvis by drawing outer right hip forward to your heel bone and outer left hip back. Couple breaths. Again, maybe bend that right knee, turn your right forearm, rotate to your left, pressing down, lifting up, maybe holding onto your heel. And again, heel to bottom and bottom to heel. Rotate best you can. Breathe space in your sacrum, low back, and use your exhale to connect into that space. Pull the waistline into that space. And gently release that. Go ahead, press back, all fours, plank pose, pike it up, down dog. Let's do one more pigeon variation here. We'll inhale, draw the right leg forward, pigeon pose. Again, start the same way we started. Find your symmetry. Outer right hip back, right heel to left hip point, abdomen in. Exhale, hinge forward, maybe lower the left toes. And then let's take a little side bend here. So maybe walk over to the right side, so you're over your right shin bone. Keep the right hand down and support the right shoulder. And reach the left arm out of the outer left hip. Take a breath or two here. Keep your pubic bone light so your abdomen gently hugs into the low spine. Lengthening left side body. Breathing into the low back sacrum. Come back up. Let's take it to the other side. So now I'm going to go ahead and rotate. Try to keep my hips level. Move my blanket out of the way. And rotate over my foot. Bring that side bend out of my right hip. Staying here, or you can take your elbow maybe to the foot and draw your left hand on top of your right hand into prayer. And then use that for leverage. Left hand presses down to integrate left shoulder. And rotate now. Keep drawing your left hip point to your right heel, broadening your sacrum as you rotate your spine. Come back out of that. Come back up. Inhale, pushing down, lifting up. Curl left toes, press back, down dog. One more pigeon here, so let's draw the left leg forward into our pigeon. Start the same way. Pigeon's so good because it really gets into the outer hips, the gluteals, those areas that tend to get really tight and compress our low back sacrum. Hinging forward to begin. Find your symmetry, right hip forward and down to left heel, outer left hip back. But stay in that stability, abdomen tones to support the low back. And walk the hands over to your left knee. Right arm can reach out. Bend left elbow to support the left shoulder in your spine. And feel that reach out of the right low sacrum, low back. Keep working right toes down, right knee down to promote that width and that reach to the right leg. Go ahead, come back up. Come center and then take it to the other side. So keep the pelvis relatively still and stable. Keep tapping outer hip to inner heel. Come forward here and breathing. Or maybe take your left heel or left elbow to your sole of your left foot. You can make a fist and clasp your fist with your top right hand. Integrate shoulder, lengthen your spine, and we rotate from our left to our right. And keep dropping that outer right hip down to spread the right sacrum. One more full breath. Inhale, tone the belly, lengthen your spine, soften your waist, and then gently release that. Pull yourself all the way back up, downward facing dog. Let's go ahead, toes turn in, heels out. And just with that inner rotation of both legs now, we should get a nice width in our sacrum low back. Just 2 breaths here. Try to anchor the inner and outer heel. Breathe into the low spine. Broaden the thigh bones apart. Come back neutral. And simply let's lower down onto our knees. Let's take a camel pose. Again, if you have a block, use that just to bring more awareness. Hold on to your sacrum with your thumbs. My right side's holding my right sacral bone, and my left thumb's holding my left sacral bone. I'm going to first draw my sacrum in and up, drawing my thigh bones back to promote length in my low spine sacrum, to promote thighs back. And in that length, I'm going to again add my little tailbone under from the flesh of my upper buttocks, running under and down. Pubic bone is light. Find that balance front and back. Squeeze up on that block, root down through your shin bones, hands to prayer to your heart. And just really lift on all sides out of that pelvis. Keep the feet rooting. Keep lifting, keep rolling shoulder heads up and back. You can keep the chin to your chest. Maybe take it back into camel pose. Don't lose that pull to center with a block or without. You can keep the chin to your chest or release your head. 2 full big breaths here. Inhale. Exhale. Pull yourself up and out. And then hands to heart. Inhale. Lift yourself all the way back up. Hinge at the hips. Take a little seat here. Let's try one more. Again, let's come back up. You can curl the toes or press the feet flat. Again, start the same way, where you drive the thigh bones back and the sacrum draws into the body, arcing the low back. Keep that awareness, that width, that length, and then into that we'll draw the tailbone under, pubic bone light, hug to middle. Hands to heart, inhale. Shrug shoulders up to ears in an effort to lengthen. Exhale, roll shoulders back. Again, inhale. Exhale, lift yourself. Inhale. Exhale, one more in and out. Maybe hands to heels. Keep the chin to the chest. Keep drawing your 2 frontal hip points in, spreading low back. Keep a strength to those inner thighs. Release your head. 2 breaths in and out. Hug that midline in and out. Hands to heart. Lift yourself. Inhale. Exhale. Hinging to have a seat. Okay, hopefully that was helpful. Let's go ahead, come to a nice seated posture here. Upavista Konasana, so legs are nice and wide. Okay, make sure you're sitting on your 2 sit bones. So I take a moment to draw my thigh bones back and apart. If you have a hard time sitting tall and letting the sacrum draw in and up to lengthen that low back, sit up on a blanket. Even if you don't have to sit up on a blanket, I recommend it. I sure like it because it gives me a little boost to really focus on lifting in and up. Allow my sacrum to lift in, and then I pull into that lift in my front spine, pubic bone is light. Heels down, knees a little soft, hands to thighs or behind you, and just take a moment and lengthen. And then again, if you have a block, that can help support that lift, keeping that pubic bone light, because we're going to hinge at the hip crease and forward fold. Hands can stay here, they can go to shins, and we'll just take 3 full breaths. You can make a pillow for your hands, release your forehead down. Breathe space into low sacrum, low back.
And then exhale, reach the bones of the legs, reach the heels, release your forehead. So I stay anchored on your sit bones. Pubic bone is light to support that block. Such a beautiful stretch. Release. And then press down through your hands, unfold to come up. Let's take an omega pose, so we'll just bend the knees. If you have a block, you can squeeze it with your feet. If you don't have a block, just keep the feet a block distance width apart. Pull up on your shin bones, root the outer feet, root the sit bones. Keep that energy of your feet and feet pulling toward one another. Take a moment and lift yourself, really pull up on your shins. And then again, you can use your elbows in keeping that pull to center. You can draw your elbows into the inner thighs, broaden your thighs out of your hips, release your forehead, maybe that block here. So you keep the strength, you keep pushing your feet into that block. As you exhale, tone the belly into that little spine, spread your thighs out of your pelvis. One more breath. Try to release any tension in the shoulders. I know sometimes that can be difficult using your hands. And then inhale, unfold to come up. Maybe take it to Bandha Konasana. Draw the feet closer to you, soles and feet together. Still on your two sit bones, still sacrum in and up. To go with the lift and length of your low spine. Hold on to the feet and draw the pinky toes together, but spread the bounds of the toes apart. Careful not to overdo this action because you want to still sense both right and left sit bones down. You're going to lift up, pull up, and then exhale again. Keep the pinky toes into one another, and then tone your belly, pubic bone is light, and spread your elbows into the upper inner thighs as you forward fold. Release your head. 2 breaths. Again, remember to spread, lengthen, exhale, tone, and lift in the front spine. Good, and then gently pull yourself back up. Okay, let's end lying back down on our mats, supine. Okay, so ease your way down, one bone at a time. We'll end with one sort of mobility work to create that length, that width. Okay, so if this practice did bring any tension whatsoever, this should release it. Okay, so just starting with what I'm doing, some sacral rocks here, or like cat-cow, my low spine, pelvic tilt. So arc anterior, exhale posterior. And just find a rhythm, massaging your lowest spine, finding your coccyx bone as you draw the pelvis forward, and then drawing it all the way back to the top of the sacrum pelvis. Feel those hip points. I'm palpating my 2 front hip points, and I'm drawing them down and forward, and then up. I'm lifting my hip points up in that pelvic tilt and pushing them down, drawing my thigh bones away. Just 3 more like that. Inhaling, exhaling. Notice my whole spine is connected to my sacrum low back. My head gets dragged down and then it pulls right back up. Good. Now pause there, kind of neutral, so find somewhere in between. Lift your hips a little bit off the floor. Try to keep that sense of width and length in the low spine. And we'll shift our hips laterally to the left, come through center, and shift laterally to the right. Anchoring fully through all 4 corners of your feet. And as you push your hips to your right, really using that inner right thigh, outer left hip. And you push your hips to the left, feel that inner left thigh, outer right hip help you. Keep the hips nice and level. This is a nice side bend for our spine. Notice the side bend. Pelvis stays level. Come center, do a little dip now, a little twist. So remember the sacrum moves with the spine in the twist. The left hip dips in the twist. Come center, right hip dips in the twist to go right. Left hip dips in the twist to go left. Right hip dips in the twist to go right. Allow that groin to soften. Let the hips still stay off the mat. Notice your femur bones sink it down into the back of the hip, the basin of the pelvic floor.
Breath is deep. Keep going. 3 more sets. Dip and lift and dip and lift and dip. Allow the sacrum to be part of the spine. It is part of the spine. Good. Come center, and now let's do some hiking of the hips. So keep the hips level on a horizontal. We'll hike the right hip up and center. Hike the left hip up and center. Another side bend. Just creates a little bit of movement in our sacrum, low back. Creates some space. The sacrum is more for stability, but with everything, we want a little movement. One more time. And then pause, center, figure 8. So dip, dip, lift, lift. So one hip dips, one hip follows, one hip lifts, the other hip follows. Nice and supple. Feel a circular action here in the figure 8s. Keep anchoring through your shoulders, gaze is up at the ceiling. Just one more time this direction. Reverse your figure 8s, dip, dip, lift, lift. Feel the spirals. Feel the width in your sacrum, not to overlift the hips too high. The strength building in your glutes, hamstrings. Just twice more, nice and easy. Nice and supple hips. Low back, pause in your bridge, rise onto your toes, fill the body with breath. And then exhale from the top of the sternum, roll the back down. Release, inhale, ground your feet, exhale, roll it up, bridge. Inhale, rise, exhale, roll it down. Just pelvic rolls, pelvic bridges, 3 more times. Inhale, nice and supple, exhale like a wave. 1 bone at a time. In, roll it up, breath in, exhale, roll it down. Exhale, roll it up, breath in at the top, exhale, roll it down. 1 more for good measure. Exhale, roll it up, exhale, roll it down. Good. Pause there, and we'll end once again in constructive rest position with your pelvis flush in the mat, knees bent, or maybe add that block. Close your eyes. Place your hands on your pelvis and just sense the back of the sacrum on the block or floor, spreading, creating width, space. Now the exhale to soften your skin and allow your body to sink inward. Take a moment and think of the things, the people in your life that are sacred to you. Taking a moment and honor everything in your life that is sacred. Gently, if your hips are up on a block, take the block out, roll to your side, come up. Come back to a nice seat. Thank you so much for practicing with me. This is our sacred sacrum, our sacred body, our sacred life. Really hold those things that are sacred to you. Hold them well, support them well, nourish them, feed them, love them, hug them. Okay. Here's to you. Namaste. Goodbye.